friends. For those who follow the Tartarian Mudflood information, truther movement, investigation of reality and our history. So I'm listening to this video, and it's on a channel called Harpazzo. It was just published May 5th, 2022, and it's on Rumble. So the link is below. And at about 8 minutes, maybe 30 seconds, he's talking about how Lucifer was the original builder, and that Lucifer had these pipe instruments, or a pipe that generated frequency. And if you listen to the video, in the minutes prior to 8 minutes, 30 seconds, that is where I think that's when the narrator describes that Lucifer used these frequencies to deceive the third of the angels that fell with him. So for those that don't really understand, like, the Bible is actually a real historical document, and that fallen angels became the gods, the little g of Greek mythology or Hindu mythology. There were these devas or goddesses and gods that had superpowers because they were a fallen angel. And some fallen angels mated with human beings, which created what is known as men of renown. So somebody like Hercules, who was like a hybrid. So somebody like Hercules could have been part god, part human. And if you know anything about, like, if you've studied any fairy tales or mythology, that is a thing that happens where somebody has two bloodlines. So why I wanted to bring up so Lucifer was the court musician. So he was the most beautiful musical angel. And if this is correct, if I'm not sure who did the video, if it's Harpazzo, or if Harpazzo is just mirroring somebody else's video. But anyways, whoever has this information, that so if Satan is using pipes, like a fife pipe or whatever, to create things, and if Lucifer was the builder, because this is the first time I've heard that Lucifer was the builder, this might explain some of the structures that we see in the Tartarian Mudflood inquiry that we're doing. Because I wonder, because we see those Masonic triangles in a lot of buildings, and in this video, Red Blooders, he's talking about the fleur-de-lis, and that shows up sometimes. So as much as beautiful, as exquisite as a lot of these old structures are, I do wonder, was it from maybe, so in some biblical studies, there's something called the gap theory, that when God originally first in Genesis 1 created the world, then there was a gap and things were dark, and then God created Adam and Eve. And so there's a speculation that there was originally humans that God created that he didn't mention in the Bible. And so I'm wondering, in that first iteration of humans, if there were these exquisite buildings that were originally created by Lucifer. And I don't know my Bible that well, but could it be either that Lucifer, when he was still doing his job, created these structures, and so we have those Masonic temple structures with symbolism? Because that makes me question this whole Tartarian thing. Like, do we, are those buildings places of evil doing? They're exquisite, but anyway, so maybe when Satan was still doing work for God, maybe he created those buildings and then he fell. but anyway, also, I haven't seen a whole lot about this, but so you know how in churches there's those organs, the and in the olden times, I don't know, 1800s or something, or there was the organ grinder. So they would play, I guess, would play music, and people would gather around. And I haven't seen anything specifically really teasing this out and explaining it, but apparently the music that it made people feel better. And I'm wondering, like this is some orgonite, or it's an orgonite device, but I just wonder if it's a similar principle, like a frequency and music, sort of like yeah, well, I mean, you can go to the 432 videos that have pleasant sounds that adjust your brainwave or whatever. So if Lucifer was, the Pied Piper, that led the angels, some of those angels, to their doom, and Lucifer, Satan, is the Pied Piper in humanity because he's just distracting people or seducing people. Um, so, excuse me. So, I just wanted to encourage people to check out that video and check out that part of the video in case it might be of interest. And um, I think that's it. I just find this very exciting. If like we know, Lucifer was a musician. I didn't know he was a builder. And so, did he do that first build in Genesis 1, of those huge structures that we see? And and so those, maybe that first group of humans were just so bad, God didn't even talk about them. Imagine how bad that would be, right? And so, did God, just set it on fire, and maybe that's why there's just those huge melted canyons, Um, is that the sequence of events that occurred? And I think, like, why is this significant? What's significant is that the Bible is real, God is real, and Satan is real. And we have evidence of this all around us. And it's we're being poo-pooed and just told we're mistaken or whatever. But if we knew that what that the mud flood, or that these melted huge buildings were evidence of God's wrath, like that canyons or whatever. I mean, um, if we had this evidence of a creator, a prime creator, showing his wrath, um, anybody with any common sense would be like, well, oh well, there's a prime creator. Well, maybe I should try to get to know the prime creator. And that's the thing, is the prime creator wants to get to know us, and how he's made that possible is through Lord Jesus Christ, his son, who he brought here to save us from Satan, to save us from our own evil. And the thing is, like, if there was the gap, if the gap theory is correct, there were humans who are so evil, God didn't even talk about them. And why I think that's significant is the Holy Bible. There are so many of the worst people that God does talk about in the Bible. I mean, like, I had the hardest time handling reading the Bible, the like, because the characters were so creepy. Like, they were just so, like, unthinkable. Like, how do like, how does this happen? Um, but so, and I was thinking that God was disclosing that he loves anybody and he just wants to connect with anybody. And that God isn't just trying to find nice people to love and connect with. And so, that's what I thought originally, that that's why there's such bad people that are described in the Bible. But that it's possible that there were an original, like a pre-existing human race that God didn't talk about. Um, that means something. I mean, that's so terrible because God has erased the existence, possibly, of these previously existing humans, and they must have been such horrible beings, because the reason why Moses came down with the 10 commandments is because those people didn't know you're not supposed to kill people. They didn't realize it was a bad thing to do that, to steal and to disobey their mother and father. And I'm not saying you have to do whatever your malignant narcissist parent says to do. I'm saying like decent stuff, that a parent would expect when I'm talking about the 10 commandments. So, anyways, yeah, so we know Lucifer was a musician. So, was he able to build with these frequencies, right? And so, did he build all the stuff playing a pipe, let's say, or some sort of frequency device? And so, did Lucifer create what the first layer of Tartaria, or did he have something to do with the second layer of Tartaria? So it seems like there's that first layer of that rock, that concrete, and then it seems like there's that second civilization of red brick. Do I have that right? Um, and so, and what more does that mean other than telling us that God is real, Satan is real, we need to know Jesus? Um, I mean, I guess, we could be like, okay, well, maybe frequencies can heal. And I do believe frequencies like nature can heal. If you're going to a park, like I was watching a real estate video and the guy was talking about, yeah, here's a park, a walkable park where you can recharge, right? So we know being in nature, breathing fresh air, getting sunlight, moving, and being around nice people, like, so, like in some kind of community, we know that that heals us. So parks are a charging station, or I would even say like a lively urban city. It charges you. A beautiful neighborhood, and that beautiful neighborhood has to have some historic architecture. It has to have some trees, a bicyclist, a dog walker, children playing on the lawn. Like those are all things that charge you, that are healing, rather than a clinically empty landscape wasteland where it's just cars, cars, cars. I mean, that is so soul sucking. So I mean, I don't know if we're gonna, you know, like I don't, excuse me, I don't know if like, do we need to build instruments that do, um, play music and alter. I mean, I really love the idea of tuning forks. I think that's a great idea. So that's not necessarily my point. I just wanted to put this last, this thought about um, that sound it creates. And we've been seeing that with that cymatics, where that those mold spores, what it, I forget what the spores on the mat, and then the music is played, and the spores change shape with the different frequencies. So so it just makes sense that if Lucifer was the musician, and if sound creates formations of matter, then did so, because I had been wondering if the original constructions was done by Freemasons or whatever, because Masons, and there's parts of the Bible where God seems to imply the people who are creating bricks, that they're part of a cult or a guild or some type of secret society. I don't have the reference right here, but if I find it soon, I'll put it in the link below, or I'll put it in the description box. So I think then, if Satan in his good, so Lucifer, before he fell, Satan was called Lucifer. So when Lucifer was doing his job, maybe the first creation was that cement level. And then after Lucifer fell, perhaps, then maybe another angel, or maybe Lucifer, when he fell, he did the red brick. Because it does seem like that first cement level is maybe, is it more high tech? I mean, it does seem like it's stronger, because those big, like, those huge, whatever 100-ton bricks, that seems very high tech. So what do you guys think? So I think that's it. That's it. I just saw this video, so I know this is very off the cuff here, but I was just very excited to get to put these two things together. And I guess I'll wrap this up, that we're not supposed to, like, I love watching John Levi's videos. I think he has some wonderful observations. And yes, these structures are so glorious. But if we know that Masons or Lucifer or Satan maybe sang them or played them into existence, like, I don't know, like, so I'm worried, like, could something evil have created something so beautiful? And my first impression is like, no. But there's some symbols, and why make a building so big that it can allow a Nephilim, a giant, to have entrance? But if we look at the original height of Adam, apparently he was huge. He was a giant. I mean, not just 7 feet tall. He was like, what, 20 feet tall or something like that. So, yeah, so many questions. And I guess I was just trying to say, like, maybe we shouldn't glorify, or like only God should get our praise. Everything should be for the glory of God. And I guess it's easy to look at these exquisite machines, these cathedrals, these star forts. It's easy for us to be like, wow, those are so beautiful. But I think we may get kind of seduced and forget about the glory of God. And really, what's really important is salvation. And like, I think all of these structures in this inquiry, everything should be leading us to who is God, and do I know who God is? And what can I do to help God? And not that God needs our help, but what can I do to please God? Like, that really is the question. And I think God uses everything to lead us to Him. So hopefully, folks who are studying the mud fossil or mud flood. I mean, I like mud fossils, mud fossils as well. I think that's another important piece of the puzzle. But anyways, those of us who love the Tartaria mud flood inquiry, like, if you don't know who God is, if you hate Jesus or reject Jesus, you have missed the point of the Tartarian mud flood inquiry, because everything leads to God. And this goes for mud fossils too. It's like everything is about validating the Holy Bible. And if you're just going to ignore the biblical thing, like, you're just like that, and it's a waste. But God works in His own timing, so perhaps if you don't realize God is real, or that this is all like a cover up against Jesus. Maybe there's some reason God is not letting you see, but I hope He does. I pray that He allows everybody to see what's going on. So tell me what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching. God bless.